Hello everybody. Today I'm going to do another tier list, and this time it is for the Druchii. So let's get started. First we got the Khainite Assassin. Very strong pick. He's just amazing. You can always pick two of these guys and they will just snipe characters from range or from melee. They have the Web of Shadows also to counter cav or single entities or just big blobs, it's just incredibly strong. You can always pick these guys. They have stalk, they can kite, just so strong for the price. Now the Beastmaster. This guy is not core, he is situational. He's fairly strong, but he's okay, He's the best pick on Manticore or on his chariot. Is okay. You can kite with him, or you can just go in melee with a Manticore. The best thing about him is that he can buff your cav or your strong monsters with his buffs, and he can also buff himself. And he also has the net. So, the Tormentor Sword. Pretty strong items. He cannot heal like some of the Dark Elf Lords, which is a bit of a problem. But he's okay. You can pick him in a few matchups. But not the best. Now Lokir, situational as well. His best matchup is against Dawi. He is basically like little Sigvald, not as expensive and not as good. He is okay in a few matchups. You should pick him on foot because on his dragon right now it's kind of suicidal. So on his dragon is kind of help please, but let's pick him on foot and he's situational. Helebron, she is between help please, like really bad, and situational. I would say she is in help please. Because she's just not strong enough. Not strong enough on foot. She is not strong enough. She can buff big blobs, which is the best thing about her. But you would want her to be better on chariots, or just even on foot. You would want her to be better. She's just too squishy and doesn't kill as well as she did before when her blade was broken, Now it doesn't do much. And if you want a foot lord or chariot lord, you will probably pick someone else, or even Manticore lord. She's probably the best on Manticore. Like, I would say she's situational on Manticore, and the rest on chariot or on foot, she's just kind of help please. The Death Hag, pretty decent, especially on foot if you make her work. With the Khainite Assassin, she's okay. But then on the chariot, not very strong. Again, the chariot itself is not a very strong pick. It's quite expensive and it's kind of a help please. Actually, it's not that bad. You can still use her. You can use Helebron, but they do need a lot of buffs. Like, what they do is not enough. They need price reductions, need to be better in melee overall, just not strong enough. She has a good minus melee attack around her against the enemy, and it's pretty strong. But then why take her when you have Morathi? But we will talk about Morathi right after this. So this guy, I would say he can be in core or situational. He has a good DPS against, everything, because he has AP, and the best thing you can take him on Pegasus, and he will just do a steady stream of damage all the game. So you can pick him, but in the current meta, I would say he is more of a situational pick, more than a core, even though he is fairly strong. He is decent. I would say this guy is in a good spot. Just he has few applications if you want to use him properly. The Dread Lady, the Dready that we call Nelosi, she is just in help. Yeah, need help, please. She's bad. She's like a worse Malekith, basically, for almost the same price, and that's really bad. Like she's really bad. She looks dope, but she sucks. Yep. Malekith, this guy is always strong. Malekith is always strong. Not as good as Morathi, but you can always pick him on foot, on Cold One. Do not pick him on Chariot because this is currently bugged. He cannot heal with Soul Stealer when he's on his Chariot, so do not pick him on Chariot. Not yet. On Dragon, it can be used. Dragon Malekith is still fairly strong. But you know, the current state of Dragon, it's kind of rough. So you should pick him on Cold One. Most of the time you can pick him on Chariot. Not Chariot, no. You can pick him on foot. Yeah, if you are afraid of getting sniped, for example. Maleth. Malus is, I think, better than we think. He's a good lord. I think he's pretty strong. You can almost always pick him, and he's more than situational. He's good on foot. He's good on Cold One. He has good abilities, and he kind of has a second life with his transformation. But you should still not suicide him and just thinking that you can just pop him and go back to full life, because he will go down fairly quickly. You want his transformation to happen as late as possible. But I would say he's in a good spot. Maybe he needs tiny buffs, and he will be quite a good lord. So now the master, situational. He's almost in help, please, because he's simply not very strong. Has a few applications, but he's quite expensive. He cannot heal. He's pretty tanky, and I ran him a few times on foot in a blob with Morathi. And if you have Morathi on foot with two of these guys, it's actually pretty strong goon squad, very resilient to a lot of things, and full anti-large, full AP. It's pretty wild. So yeah, this guy is not that bad. Definitely not the best hero. The assassin is way better overall, but you will be able to play this guy a few times. So Morathi, obviously, always strong. Nothing much to say about her, you know. She has crazy abilities, just more Soul Stealer than everyone else. Just very strong, very strong right now. She needs some nerfs. The minus 20 attack and 20 melee defense is pretty crazy. That needs to change. One day it will happen. One day. Yeah. So, Rakarth. Rakarth is help. Yeah, he's kind of a worse Beastmaster, kind of. Because he's more expensive and still he does the same thing. Pretty much. Just not a very strong lord. He dies a lot. He's almost situational, but I believe he's just too weak to be played right now. You can try. He will most likely do okay, but yeah, still too weak. So now we've got the mage. Basic mage. Doesn't matter which lore you use. It's always core. You know, it's you need it. You need it. It's good. You can use dark and fire are probably the best. Then you have death, for Spirit Leech and maybe Buna or other stuff. But I would say Dark and Fire are the best lores right now. Same for the Supreme Sorceress. It's core. It's strong. It's almost in the always strong. I think you can put her here, but just put her as core. Like, you can always take her. Doesn't matter what you do. So, but she's not OP. She's not OP like the K-Knight or Morathi. Malekith is almost in core, but I feel he's pretty strong. I like him, so he stays here in the always strong. Okay, so I did a quick reorganization. I did it in the first place, but then it got messed up. So here we go. Now in the order, we've got the Bleak Swords. So Bleak Sword, just a core unit. For what it does, for the price, just a good unit. Same for the Spears. It's just strong, 450. Good chaff. That's it. For the Aura, it's more situational. It still costs a lot, and you just get rank 9 and poison. If you want poison in your front line, it's a good way to have it. So it's not as core as the normal ones, but it's good. It's adding poison to your front line. Corsairs, pretty core as well. Corsairs can be used against many factions. You can do a full front line of Corsairs if you want, or second line. It's very strong. Now, the Witch Elves. Witch Elves are more situational. They are not very good right now. They are almost in help, please, to be honest. It's not a good unit, but the Rampage is just so amazing that you want it sometimes. You want to have this possibility. Just note right now that Rampage is bugged. If you Rampage units, they will not have their passive or special abilities. So, for example, if you Rampage a Dark Elf and Murderous procs, he is not gonna have the Murderous Prowess, and it's kind of good for you because the enemy Dark Elf will not have it. But if you do it against, let's say, Vampire Counts, if you Rampage zombies or whatever, and it is supposed to crumble down to death, it will not crumble. So the Rampage is kind of bug right now, and which makes Witch Elves a bit more of a dicey choice. It's kind of weird. The Awa Witch Elves, again, situational. These girls have Terror, and Terror on on the naked lady unit is really interesting. So yeah, they are pretty strong, I would say, pretty strong. Still very situational. So yeah, you can pick these ladies for Terror and rank 9 Witch Elves. It's pretty good. The Sisters of Slaughter, I would say, can be a good core against most factions. They are pretty strong right now. Not as strong as they used to be, but it's a good unit that you can use 2 or 3 of in most matchups, to be honest. It's good. You should play the Sisters. The Executioners, good unit. Good unit for the price, just amazing anti-infantry, great weapon unit, just badass, and still more situational than, let's say, the Corsairs or the Sisters, because they are very, very specific units they want to fight, but they are very good at it. So yeah, situational, strong unit. Same for the Awa. The Awa is just probably right now the best anti-infantry in the game. These guys are just amazing. Just amazing at cutting down infantry. And at the same time, they give Guardian to your lords and heroes. So it's just a beast of a unit. You do not want them always. So yeah, situational, strong. Blackguards, core. They are kind of core because they are just so strong. And still situational. I would say they are kind of in between. I cannot really make up my mind for these guys, but it seems you can play them against most factions. All right. Now that I think about it, situational, still very strong, same as the executioners. Just amazing unit. Just probably the best halberd unit in the game. Can fight anything, infantry, cavalry, monsters, everything. Just for the price, you get something amazing. But you do not always want them. That's the thing. So use them properly, and they will do great for you. So Dark Shards are kind of not great, you know. It's an okay unit. Just not very strong. They are almost in help, please, to be honest. Because they cost a lot. They have low range. I mean, 550 and 650 for the shield. It's not a lot, but you will almost never get a lot of value from these guys because they have a hard time shooting at targets. It takes a lot of time for them to shoot, and the missiles are not that fast. Low range, and it's just a lot of things that make them not very strong. They suck in melee, and still, I would put them in situational because they can potentially deal a lot of damage to a few targets, and which make them okay. Definitely not core for me because they are just too flimsy and kind of weird to use and just weak overall. As an archer unit, it's just not what you want most of the time. So they are same idea. They have more range, but it just costs so much. My God, it's just bad. And they have the thunder armor on their missiles, I believe, and which you probably do not care as Dark Elves because everything is AP, more or less. And yeah, no, they have shield breaker. So yeah, actually that's a good idea. It's pretty good, very expensive. That's the problem. If these guys were maybe 100 gold less expensive, they would be more usable. But right now it's very situational. Can be strong, can be a sink of gold. Hard to use. The Corsairs, Corsairs Pew Pew, pretty good unit. But you do not always want these guys. It's good for kiting. It's very good for kiting, which you do not always do. But it's pretty strong. Pretty strong unit. I would say in a good place. In a good place, you do not always want to play them. The Shades. Shades are always pretty strong. Good unit. Good DPS. Just hard to shut down. And can potentially do a lot of damage. Just you do not always want them. Again, a lot of Dark Elf units are situational, as you can see. You've got a very little core unit, but it's strong. And then you have a lot of potential units to mix and that are very situational and can adapt to your builds and strategy. So Dark Elves have just a lot of tools to use. And Shades have 3 different ways, 3 different variants. So the basic one, is very good if you only want them to shoot. If you plan that your Shades will actually have to fight, let's say, dogs, zombies, or maybe bats, the dual weapon is very strong. So, and the great weapon is actually kind of executioner, squishy executioner. And if you plan to use your ammo and potentially just flank or, let's say, kill some Dawi, these guys are very strong. Like, you can use a lot of your ammunition, and then if you choose, or if you get charged, attacked by some dwarf warriors or stuff, maybe heavy cav, The AP coming from these guys, you can just charge and they will do a lot of damage. Instead of running away, like the normal shades would do, or just get murdered in melee, these guys would do amazing. So it's a difference. You can choose to get your shades to be just strong in melee, because the basic ones are not strong in melee. These guys have good applications. So yeah, again, situational, the two of them, just fairly good unit. You can use them. Dark Riders, with or without shields, just a good core unit. You can use 3, 4, 5 of them in most of your armies. It's just a good chaff. It's a good chaff cav, and good for backline harass, good for fighting dogs, good for giving more mass to your cav army. Just strong, yeah, fairly strong. The harvesters are pretty bad. Help, please help, CA. These guys are not great. They have good spells. Thank God they have good spells. And when it comes to melee, they are just too weak. Just too weak for the price you pay. I would like these guys to be just to hit a little harder, I think. Or just simply be less expensive. Yeah, that would be great. The our harvesters are, I would say, core. Maybe more situational, let's say situational. Because they are very strong. Because they have Soul Stealer and the Word of Pain. But mostly because they have Soul Stealer. Soul Stealer is just very strong right now. Counters Blob, counters Cav. And it gives them healing. Like 500 HP, 300. It's something. It's pretty cool. But yeah, pretty strong unit. You do not always want them, I would say. It's almost core, but not always. They do get countered pretty hard by a few things. Especially magic damage, you know. So Cold One Knights. Core. I would say these guys are core. Just when you want cav with anti-large, you just pick this guy. You take two of them. Just a good unit overall. 1k gold, just good. The Dread Knights are seeing a resurgence and pretty strong. I would say it's a good core, more focused melee infantry. Melee cav, sorry. So yeah, pretty strong right now. I think the meta just changed and showed that these guys can always be played, actually. It's kind of surprising and it's good. It's good to see that these guys are just a strong melee cav that you can always pick. The AOR is kind of interesting because people do not pick it. They are more expensive. The thing is they have rank 9 stats and they do not rampage. I believe they cost 200 more and it's kind of a lot, to be honest. So I would say they are also core. You do not always want them still, which is kind of confusing, I guess. But just because they are a bit overpriced. I would say they are overpriced right now, which kind of put them in help, to be honest. Help, but not for, the bad reasons of the others. It's still pretty strong, just overpriced. Overpriced is a problem. And, it's not that bad. So I do not want them to to feel bad here. They are situational, just need some help. They are not as strong as the other. So yes, I would still put them in help, please. But they are not weak, okay? These guys are not weak. They just need some help, some price reduction or something, Just please help a little, these guys. They're almost as good as the basic ones. All right. Dark Riders, crossbows, just amazing. Amazing unit. I think I actually want to put them in always strong. because they are always strong. You can always pick these guys against anyone, and they will just always do the work. AP, really fast, cheap, 650. It's just a very good unit. The Auror Dark Riders, just very, very, very situational, but very strong. They are very squishy, and it's the only flying missile cav for the Dark Elves, which makes them very interesting in a few matchups, like against Norsca. If you want to kite or just protect the box, they are kind of like Orc Riders, but on steroids. Not in melee, the second melee, but from range, the damage is absolutely crazy. But you need to be very careful with your ammunition. Do not fire away like it's nothing. You will run out of ammunition very fast with these guys, so it's very precious ammunition. And make sure you use it properly. They will do a lot of damage. The Scourgerunners, just crazy good. Scourgerunners still very amazing. Just you can again pick them against anyone. They are light chariots, and at the same time they will just pew at anything and just kill a lot of things. They will always make their value back unless they get sniped somehow. It can happen. They can get sniped, but they will just always do well. The Auror is quite expensive. It gives you the better kiting. It's gonna slow stuff around it because of the snare and the poison. So it's pretty good. Still, I would say more situational. It's more situational. You can use it because if you want the slow, it's gonna be very cool in your group of Scourgerunners. The Cold One Knights, Cold One Chariot, is situational as well. I would say right now it doesn't do its work very well. It's kind of weak. I think it's bugged as well. In melee, the cold ones just do nothing. It seems to do very little damage as a fighter in melee, even though it should do some damage. And as a chariot, it's still okay, but compared to Scourgerunners, it's really, really weak. So needs some fixing, needs some help, needs something. I would say do not pick these guys right now. It's kind of weak. The Harpies, situational. Situational, just if you want Air Force, if you want to counter the enemy Air Force, it's very good. If you want to attack the backline, the archers and stuff like that, the Harpies are pretty good. It's just a fairly decent unit that you want sometimes. The Auror is also very good. It's just gonna regen his HP in melee. So yeah, just the Auror can be amazing. Sometimes against Coast, against Dawi, if he can just feast on flying units, he's just gonna do a lot of work. Situational, the Boltthrower. And it's almost in help, please, to be honest, because it's weak. It's really weak. It's weaker than the High Elf one, and the High Elf one is already bad. I mean, it's for 700, you almost never get your value back from this, unless you are shooting at very big, very expensive stuff, and very slow. And yeah, it's just not great right now. It needs some help, either range. I would say the best thing for it would be range and missile speed. Missile speed and range buff would be just amazing. So, Manticore, yeah, always strong. Manticore is just very strong right now. For 800, you get something that just can snipe a lot of characters or monsters and just put terror everywhere. Very mobile and just incredibly strong. The Medusa. Medusa is in situational, and I would say she's kind of a meme. I like her, but to be honest, she's more in get help. she's more of a get help, yeah, to be honest. Same for the Aura. The Aura is even worse. Like you would think the ability from the Aura is good, but it's not. It almost does no damage. And she's just, I think she needs to be better in melee, and she would be fine. She gets staggered all the time. If she gets surrounded by a knight unit, she dies in 30 seconds. Her blast from range is the only good thing about her, which is only gonna work against very tightly packed infantry. So she's very good. I like her into high elves. And that's it. I guess that's the only good matchup for her. So if you want to play her because you like the style, you can try one against high elves. You shoot at Spearman, you shoot at Phoenix Guards, and yeah, that's gonna be pretty good. You can also try shooting at Cav, but the AoE for the Medusa is very low and very dense, so it will most likely just kill one knight, maybe two, most of the time. It's not very good. So yeah, she's in get help. The Hydra. Hydra is pretty strong. Pretty strong, but situational. You obviously do not always want a big monster, sluggish. It's slow. It's slow and it's good. It's a good monster, good breath, decent fighter, terror, regen, just pretty strong, but you do not always want such a thing in your army. That's it. But I think it's a good unit, especially the Aura, with rank 9 and the chill, just a very strong unit, but very expensive. Charybdis goes straight into the get help, please. It's bad. It's bad. Just no regen. Obviously, it's a better fighter than the Hydra, but the fact that he has no breath, no regen, good anti-large, cool. Just it's not tanky enough. That thing is not tanky enough, and for the price you pay, it's not worth it. Like ever. Just unless you get just a fight against a big monster and nothing is shooting at it, nothing is shooting at your Charybdis. It's just not great. Even against vampire accounts, it's not the best monster because it's gonna get dragged down eventually. With no regen, the Aura Hydra will always be better. So the Bloodwrack Medusa, it's pretty good, I would say. It's an okay monster, chariot, and I would put it in a situational. It's you do not always want this, obviously. There are a few matchups where it's gonna work, and it's got a Medusa on top of a fairly strong chariot, which makes it okay, and it has a debuffing aura, which is pretty good. You want a monster like this, I think against Beastman is pretty good, because it's not gonna get shot a lot. And against high elves, potentially, because it has good targets in the infantry. But yeah, it's really hard to play this thing. There are very few matchups where it's gonna work. But I believe it has a place. It still needs help. It's almost in the help please. And yeah, we need something. Black Dragon, the Big Daddy. Big Daddy is help please. Current state of dragon, just not great. Pretty bad, man, even. And Dark Elf ones cannot heal. You do not have Alaya just with the Star of Avalon, or your Life Mage with a regrowth here. Just it's not gonna happen. So Black Dragon is a strong dragon, but yeah, he cannot heal. It's very expensive, and he will die. He will die. For 2k gold, you do not want this guy right now. You can try against Bretonia, do a double dragon or something, or maybe against greenskins still. It can work. It can work, but needs help nonetheless. Needs help. All right, I think we got it. Dark Elf tier list is done. I hope it was very good and very long again, half an hour. And yep, I hope you enjoyed, and it's gonna help you build your Dark Elf armies. And I will see you very soon for a next tier list. All right, see you guys.